What's up, my fellow small business supporters? I'm Savvy, here with the AuthorTube Storytime tag. I am so excited to do this tag today. This tag was created by the adorkable author, and she is also the person who tagged me in it, so I will link her version of this in the description below. Be sure to check that out. While I am telling you guys my story today, I am going to be drawing a very fun picture in the background. You guys may remember a few weeks ago I did the AuthorTube artist tag. And while I was doing that tag, I was drawing a picture from Sculpt Yourself, and it was of a character named Jessica from page 14. And Jessica from page 14 is a Playboy model that exists in the Sculpt Yourself universe that the character Kelly draws a picture of. So I mentioned in that I'm going to be trying to release a new Sculpt Yourself cover in the future, because for NaNoWriMo right now I'm working on the sequel to Sculpt Yourself, so I want those covers to be consistent. And because of that, I decided that I want Jessica from page 14 to be the cover of Sculpt Yourself, and then I'm going to use my pop art style, because then for Indecent Exposure, which is the sequel, I will also do a pop art style cover for that, and that should work pretty well. But when I did this first version of Jessica from page 14 in the AuthorTube artist tag, it didn't turn out exactly as I wanted it to, and I had learned some new digital art skills since then that I wanted to utilize. So this is my attempt at drawing a picture that will be used for the cover. I'm working on the cover right now as well, but let me know in the comments below if you think this would look good on a book cover. Now on to the story tag. So basically what you do for this tag is you tell a story of something that happened in your life, and you tell it in like, you know, a fun storyteller kind of way, not just like recounting it to someone, and then talk about why that story is good as a writer, like from a writer's perspective, why is this a good story? And then tag people. So that is exactly what I'll be doing. The story I've decided to tell today is one that I used to tell back when I did stand-up comedy. So I didn't actually do stand-up comedy for that long. I did it very briefly back in like 2015. That was kind of my stand-up comedy year. That was when I did a trial for that. And I'd kind of perform at like school things in my college and like at some open mic nights in Chicago. And that was really fun. But the thing is, in Chicago, everyone and their mom wants to be a comedian, which is not a problem. There's a lot of funny ass people in Chicago, but the problem is that it means all the open mic nights are ridiculously crowded. So after a while, I realized that like if I was going to work, if I was going to be putting all my time into being a writer, and I was going to be working jobs to make money and all of that, then I really didn't have time to be trying to do these open mic nights as well. So my stand-up comedy career kind of ended before it really ever started. But I realized that some of the stories I told that were kind of funny would work well in YouTube videos, so let me know if you ever want me to tell more stories that I used to do for stand-up. But anyway, this is like a real story that I used to tell all the time doing stand-up comedy, and this is the story of how I became a slut at 10 years old. Don't cancel me, wait till you hear the story. So, back when I was 10 years old, I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to do plays and theater and that kind of thing. So I took this acting class, and in the class, I had to read this script where I was playing the part of a girl who was upset that her boyfriend had moved on too quick after the breakup. So like relatable 4th grader, 10-year-old stuff. That's what I was reading, was this girl who was like, oh man, you know, our breakup was so tough and he's already has another girlfriend. I had no idea what was going on. Anyway, basically, part of it was that I had to call the other girl a slut in this. I was like, oh yeah, that slut that my boyfriend left me for and all that. And this was a word that I had never encountered before in my life as, you know, a child. So I went home that day and I was like, hey mom, what does slut mean? And she was like, oh, Savvy, the word slut, you shouldn't use that. That's a word that we use for a woman who has very low self-esteem. And like, okay, that's fine. Like, I mean, I disagree with that definition now as like an empowered feminist adult, but like, I can see why a mom might give that definition to a child. But here's the thing that a lot of adults don't get, which is when you tell a child something, they're gonna take what you say to be what you mean, right? Like, there's no way that I, as a person who had never heard the word slut before, was gonna understand the nuance of a woman with low self-esteem. Literally, I just thought it meant a girl who has low self-esteem, like literally. So I went to school the next day And I was in math class, and I was sitting there like, God damn it, I'm doing terrible at this. I got back my test, I got a B. You know, I was one of those kids, I could not handle getting a B. I had to get an A plus 100% on everything. So I was like, God damn it, I am so stupid. How did I make these dumb mistakes? Why am I like so bad at this? Why am I such an idiot? And I just kept thinking all these like awful self-loathing thoughts to myself. And that's when I realized that I had become a slut. I was literally being a girl with low self-esteem. And that was not okay. So that's kind of how I got through the rest of elementary and middle school, was me going like, Savvy, you have to stop being a slut and believe in yourself. So that's how I got through elementary and middle school until I was like about 12 years old in 6th grade. And I was, you know, it was 2004, so I was spending my night the way I spent all my nights in 2004, which was hanging out on AIM getting cyberbullied. So I was up on AIM with my screen name, which was Savvy Skateboarder spelled with an 8. Of course it was. Anyway, I was on there getting in a cyberbully fight with this bitchy popular girl from school. And basically, so I decided that she was being a girl with low self-esteem. So I called her a slut. And she was like, you don't even know what slut means. And I was like, yes, I do. So I looked it up in the dictionary, because that's what any logical person who has been questioned on whether they actually know the meaning of a word would do. I pulled out my thick-ass red leather Merriam-Webster dictionary and was like, all right, here's the word slut. And the definition was like slut, noun, a wicked woman. And I was like, oh, well, that's actually perfect, because this girl's on AIM over here being a bitch. And I'm like, well, this is a wicked woman if I've ever seen one. So I was like, no, girl, you are a slut. And she was like, I've never even had a boyfriend before. Like, I've never even kissed a guy. I'm literally 12 years old. I am not a slut. And I was like, slut means wicked woman, and you are being kind of a wicked woman right now, so I think you are in fact a slut. And she was like, Savvy, that is not what slut means. A slut means someone who sleeps around. And I was just like, sleeps around what? Literally, that's the end of the story. So, the reason that I thought this story was good was that it plays on a misunderstanding, and I think that's what made it really funny. And there's this whole idea that, like, adults tell kids things without realizing how the kid is going to interpret that. And, you know, we see that in stories a lot, this trope of misunderstandings, this trope of someone saying someone and someone taking it a completely different way. And we see that reflected a lot in real life as well. And that's how this ended up being such a funny thing of why I'm 10 years old thinking I'm a slut because I did badly on my math test. Like, what? That's ridiculous. And, like, I have so many other stories that are like that. There's another one I used to tell for stand-up comedy as well, where it was about how when I was, like, a kid back in the late 90s, my favorite song was No Scrubs by TLC, and they have that line where they're talking about how the guy's trying to holla at them, and I had never heard the word holler without the R at the end. You know, I was a super lame white child, so I asked my mom, what does holla mean? And she was like, it's a Jewish bread. And I was like, oh, okay. And so then every time I heard that song for the rest of childhood, I just pictured, like, these guys hanging out the passenger side of their best friend's ride, throwing bread at these women. Right? Like, that was my childhood right there, was me misunderstanding slang or colloquialisms as a child. That was me. So I guess the other part of that story that's fun is that makes it like a well-rounded AuthorTube story is that I grew up to be a writer, and these are all stories about me not understanding what certain words mean. So, you know, you have to learn what words mean, you have to learn what expressions and phrases and slang terms for different characters would mean as a writer, but as a child, I had no fucking idea. So I hope you guys enjoyed that story. I hope you liked my clickbaity thumbnail where I'm like, slut, but I'm showing Jessica with her big boobs. Having big boobs does not make you a slut. It does not make you someone who sleeps around, nor does it make you a wicked woman, nor does it make you a girl with low self-esteem. I personally do have low self-esteem about my large chest because I feel like it doesn't belong on me. I think I really am supposed to have a more androgynous body, but you know, that's a different story for a different day. But my point is, the thumbnail was clickbait, so if anyone here was about to cancel me, like, maybe don't cancel me. Canceling people is stupid. Anyway, that was today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Please let me know what you thought of this story in the comments below. Also, I will tag some people in the description below because I want to hear your stories as well. I've heard a few people's really hilarious stories, and I'm just so excited to hear more stories because this tag is super fun. I kind of want to do this tag like a million more times just so I can keep telling stories. But in the meantime, I have other videos where I've told stories, so I'll have to link some of them up in the cards. Let's hope I remember to do that. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a fabulous day. Thank you so much to all of my supporters on Patreon. If you are interested in supporting this channel and seeing it grow and seeing me try to make a little bit more high budget type of content for my channel and all of that, please check out my Patreon, which is linked in the description below. I have some awesome small business supporters on there, and I have been running some polls about different types of videos that I'm going to do, and pretty soon I'm going to be running a poll about what types of merch I should release and that kind of thing, so please do check out that link in the description below. If you are interested in me as an author, if you think my storytelling ability is funny and interesting and unique, then please check out Sculpt Yourself, my new adult novel, which is what I'm drawing for the new cover of. Wow, for a writer, that was a very disjointed sentence, I apologize. Anyway, check out Sculpt Yourself and Beauty King, both linked in the description below. If you are someone who likes rescue dogs or supporting animals in shelters, then please check out my small business, The Forever Home Friends, which is where I write children's books and produce stuffed animals all based on real rescue dog stories and give 10% of profits to Chicago animal shelters. So that is all linked in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you again soon, but in the meantime, please don't forget to support small businesses. Happy storytelling!